Welcome to Starting a Business Simplified, Navigating the Shift, a podcast for those of you looking to transition from a medical career to starting an online business. I will be sharing how to get started, success stories, and more. If you are looking to make the move from medicine to online, but don't know where to start, this is the podcast for you. I'm Suzy Rains, your host, and I look forward to helping you simplify starting a business. Welcome back to Starting a Business Simplified. In this episode, I am going to talk about the biggest challenge when starting a business. There is one that everybody faces. Not a single business owner that I know has ever not been challenged by this one thing. So what is it? In my opinion, and I'm using my opinion because I don't have all the facts to go behind it. I just know from talking to other business owners, my own personal experience, and history of starting businesses. The biggest challenge when starting a business is consistency. And I'm going to say that again. The biggest challenge when starting a business is consistency. The reason that I have decided that consistency is the number one challenge, the biggest challenge to overcome, is that when people start a new business, many times they come up against wanting to give up. They come up against, how do I keep this going? It's a roller coaster ride. You've heard me use that term, and other business owners have used the same term, roller coaster ride. The reason we use that term is it is so true. Having a business is fun. It's exciting. It's a little bit scary. You don't know what's going to happen next sometimes. Other times you know exactly what's coming and you're bracing yourself for it. It's just like being on a roller coaster. You're going up and you're down and you're in circles, sometimes corkscrews. You just don't know, but it's fun and you want to be there. You stand in line for hours and hours to get on this roller coaster. That's what makes consistency a challenge. When you're faced with something that's unknown, it's hard to be consistent. When you're scared, it's hard to be consistent. When you don't know what's happening next, it's hard to be consistent. It's really easy to be consistent when you know exactly what's going to happen and you're really comfortable with it and you're excited for it to happen and there's nothing that's really a friction for it. There's no anything that you have to climb over or work around or problem solve. It's just smooth sailing. That's so easy. We can be consistent when everything is easy and fun and no challenges. As soon as we come up against something that we don't know, so there's a little bit of unknown there, maybe you have to learn something new, which takes time, which slows you down. It's hard to be consistent through that. When you are faced with a downturn, so sales aren't the greatest, it's hard to be consistent. When you are successful and everything's flowing and all things are good, it can be hard to be consistent then too, because so much stuff is happening. It's all just happening fast and you're just going with the flow. So where does this consistency come from? What I want to talk about is, what is it that can make you consistent no matter the ups, downs, sideways, backwards, whatever's going on in your business? How can you continue to be consistent through all of those challenges? The number one thing is to know exactly what your business is. Know what your service is. Know what problem you solve. Know your clients. Know your customers. Know who it is that you sell to. When you have the answers to those questions, you know exactly what problem you solve. You know exactly how you solve it. You know exactly who you solve it for. Those three things right there are going to make you be able to be consistent, because you're always going to be able to give out your message. This is the problem we solve. This is how we solve it. And this is who we solve it for. And no matter what's happening, you can continue to share that message. So when sales go down, you don't stop talking about it. When sales are down, you don't stop. It can be discouraging. I am not going to sugarcoat that. It's going to hit your emotions. You're going to feel like you had a gut punch. It's not fun to have your sales go down. You might be riding high and then all of a sudden nothing's coming in. That's part of being a business owner. If you're consistent and you know what problem you solve, you know how you solve it, and you know who you solve it for, you can continue to push forward. Keep doing what you're doing. People out there need what you have. They never stop needing it. You just have a different perspective based on what's happening and fluctuating in your business. All those people out there, they still need you. They still need what you have. So you need to keep moving forward. Keep talking about what you're doing. You don't just put the brakes on and go, well, we haven't had any sales and I'm depressed and this isn't going to work and I give up. Starting a business is not easy. It is possible. You have to be consistent and sustain what you have and just keep moving forward. Don't give up. It takes time. It takes time for people to know who you are and what you do, and it takes time to get the word out. So being consistent is going to allow you to reach more people, and those people then are going to talk about you and share what you do. And I have to remind myself of this all the time. You're listening to a podcast that I publish an episode every single week, no matter what. No matter what. That's the key. Even if I don't feel like it. And that's what made me decide to do this episode. Because I was thinking to myself today, I thought, you know what? The one thing that I struggle with as a business owner is being consistent. And I've been better this whole year, since the beginning of this year. We're in 2023. Since January, I've been really good at being consistent. And I sat down and I said, okay, what is it that I'm doing that's making it easier to be consistent, to show up, to be here for my listeners, to be here for my clients, to be here for those future people out there that may not know about me yet? What makes me show up every day, no matter how I'm feeling? And I realized that I know the problem that I solve. The problem that I solve is helping women leaving a medical profession that want to start a business. I help them identify what's the problem they solve. I help them identify how they solve that problem. I help them identify who they solve that problem for, and I help them build a business around it. I help them create the vision of the practice that they want. I do all of that. I solve the problem of getting clear, a clear understanding of what your business is going to be, and I help them create that. So I know the problem I solve, and I know how I solve it. I solve it through one-on-one coaching, my online course, through helping them build a business plan, building that business foundation that they need so that they can be consistent. And who do I do it for? I do it for women that are leaving a medical profession. Those are the people I speak to the most. And I work with all kinds of people, not just women leaving a medical profession, but that's who I speak to. So to be consistent, those are the ones that I'm talking to because I prefer to work with them. If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, well, I didn't work in the medical field, but I want to start an online business. I want Suzy to help me. Reach out. I will help you. I'm not going to say no. I know who I'm talking to because my primary audience are people that I resonate with. I came from a medical background. I went through what they're about to go through. I know what it feels like. I know some of those pain points that are specific to medical staff leaving. So I speak to that. That's what I do. So my 3 things allow me to record this podcast every week and be consistent and be excited and be happy to do it, even when I don't feel like it. If I'm not feeling it, I still do it. There's the key right there. When you know what your business is and you just go forward and you just do, it helps get through those difficult times when you're struggling. So what I want you to take away from this episode and what's going to be helpful for you is to sit down with a pen and paper or on your computer, and I want you to describe, what pain do you solve? How do you solve it? Who do you solve it for? Write those 3 things down. And whenever you're getting discouraged, whenever your roller coaster is down, or you're still waiting in line and you're struggling because you're like, where are all these people going to come from that I'm going to help? I don't know. I feel lost. I don't feel like this is going to work. And you're getting discouraged. I want you to look at those three things. Remind yourself why you are here. You are here to solve this pain problem in this particular way for this group of people. They need you. They want you. They're looking for you. The only way they're going to find you is for you to be consistent and keep moving forward. Keep sharing your message so that they can find you. So hopefully this was helpful, encouraging, and inspiring. It's my take on what I feel the biggest challenge is as a new business owner starting out for the very first time. As always, keep it simple. Thanks for listening to this episode of Starting a Business Simplified. If you enjoyed this episode, then hit the subscribe or follow button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. Have you thought about starting a business and didn't know what to do first? You're in the right place. I've created a simplified step-by-step process for starting a business. Click on the link in the show notes for information on how to get started today.